As I've been working on this, I've been thinking that there may be some of you out there who don't know how to do this. So basically what I do is I take this braided hose, I cut it with my cutoff wheel here for a nice clean cut. You want to make sure that you tape the ends. That helps it maintain as good of a cut as possible. Also, please excuse my super dirty workbench. I've been lazy about cleaning. One quick note for those of you that may be new to the AN line, stainless steel braided hose game. It's definitely, this stuff can be a little bit of a pain to put together, especially when you're new to it. So one thing that's nice to invest in is something like this Cool Tools. This is a -6 AN fitting. So basically what it is, it's just a simple little clamp. Opens up like that. You put your AN fitting in there, and then you basically shim it out so that it pushes it all the way to the front, like that. Put this in. Also on another note, of something like this for your vise, this is for AN fittings, and this is actually an aluminum vise jaws, basically, with magnets on the back to make sure that you're not marring your fittings. But to go back to this tool, basically all you do is put it in your vise, and then it really helps when you're trying to push this hose in, because it basically is just smaller, or it should be just smaller, about the same size as the inside of the fitting. So it keeps the outside of that braided hose from wanting to go outside the fitting and you having to shove it in with your fingers. So this has definitely been helpful for me. Hopefully that helps you out as well. Once you make the cut, you put your fitting in here as I showed earlier. Then you basically insert this in and you just start twisting. And you want to twist it until, let's see. So you basically see inside this AN fitting there's a stop in there. So you want to twist until that hose goes all the way to the stop. So let's see if I can get a focus. So basically you'll be able to look in here, and at the end of the fine threads you'll see the AN, or you'll see the braided line in there, stop. So basically you just twist, put that in, and then I'll show you how to do a fitting next. Okay, I just put this line together. So you can see in there that the hose is butted up at the stop at the end of the threads. So what I'm going to do now is basically take my hose, I'm going to put it in my AN vise, I'm going to clamp that in there, and then I'm going to put the fitting in. Here's the fitting. I put a little bit of thread sealant on there and a little bit of oil to basically make it go in easier. I have the fitting in the vise, so basically you just stick it in and start twisting. Eventually you should need to push a little bit to get started, and then the threads will lock up in there and you'll basically be able to twist it in. Please note there are different styles of these fittings. There's an interesting one as well, this Earl's swivel fitting, which actually has, if I can get apart here, a different way of looking. Sorry, I should have pre-planned for this. So this one looks a little bit different like that. So this part goes inside the hose, and then it basically deadheads in there, and the stainless steel outer goes around it. But just to let you know, there are different types of these fittings. For the sake of this, I'm actually using a couple different brands, but just a heads up. Cool, that's all you do. And then you take your AN wrench and basically just twist it on. One last note, before you start threading this in, it's probably worthwhile to go in here and make a little permanent mark. That way as you thread this in, you can make sure that the hose isn't pushing out the back, because that should not happen. One other note for beneficial tools out there if you're just getting started with AN fittings. I don't think these are necessary, but something I wanted to get. I got this -6 AN wrench. I'm actually finding I don't really like it. It works for some of the fittings I have that are 6 AN, but not all of them, so that's pretty annoying because I still have to use regular wrenches. But it's aluminum, really well made. Other than that, I could probably file these teeth a little bit to open them up. But other than that, it's a nice to have. You can get a full set, but for me, it's actually not working too well right now. And then I also got this thread sealant and hose assembly oil to help the lines go together, and that actually is helping. So anytime I'm putting together fittings, I'm putting a little thread sealant on it, and the oil goes on the little barb. I don't have one around here to help the hose go together. But just some other things I went with, but are pretty much optional.